I am using Claude and Skool to scale to 100K a month, and this is exactly how you can do the same. I'm going to break down everything in this presentation, and this is a no fluff framework for coaches, consultants, creators, anyone that's selling a high ticket product. So this is also service providers, agencies, etc. And this is all without burning out, okay? Now this is going to be an uncut video. So if you're someone that has a hyper, stimulated brain that can't focus for 20 minutes, then click off this video right now, okay? So who is this relevant for? This is relevant if you have a marketable skill, if you've posted content before, you value you value impact over shortcuts, you want freedom, not just income. And this is not for you if you've never posted online, you don't have a skill to sell, you're chasing quick shortcuts, and you just want to make money, because ultimately you're not going to do this for the long run and you're going to fail, okay? So who the hell am I? My name is Jay, and over the past 3 years, I've been helping online consultants, creators, etc. But it wasn't always like that, okay? I started in 2016 with my business journey where I was building a fashion business, and I wanted to build a clothing business, right? This is me with my designs. I went to fashion university. I sold beats online. That was my first income that I made. Sold and made a few $1,000s that way, had millions of streams on Spotify. And my goal was ultimately to be an entrepreneur, right? I wanted to make my own money online. I wanted to have freedom. And I built the clothing brand from scratch. I sold freaking commissions of graphic designs for t-shirts online. You can see on the left here. I worked at a COVID center, and I hated my life. I realized that I was going to university. I wasn't learning the skills of what it really takes to build a personal brand, which is what ultimately builds trust in today's society. And so I built a micro brand on Instagram, sold graphic design, music beats, first taste of online income. And if you guys are watching this and you've made money online, you know how it feels like to finally make that first cent online, because your whole entire worldview changes. And I was living in Hamburg, Germany at the time. Now I'm in Berlin, and I invested in my first mentor in the beginning of 2023 for 5K. And since then, I've built my agency to 20K a month and moved to consulting, making anywhere from scaling my Instagram to 23,000 followers, making anywhere from 15 to 20K in a week. And also in 2024 and beyond, we basically created our flagship program called Reality Creator that helps people shift beliefs and use systems with ads, okay, to scale. But in this video, I want to show exactly how Skool and Claude is kind of our next focus point and why you should make that your focus as well. Now, I've worked in many different niches. Oh yeah, by the way, I kind of coupled with my business partner, Sebastian. We're building Reality Creator together, and we traveled the world. We have full freedom, time freedom, location freedom, and it's epic. And that's why I want to share some of my knowledge that I've gained over the past few years to you guys, okay? And the things that I've done is realized, obviously 23,000 followers on Instagram. I started with like around 500 in July 2023. So here I've got 429. Now I'm at 23,000, making 10,000 euros in a week. And over 47 niches I've worked with when it comes to personal brands, creators, etc. And yeah, it's pretty epic. I have tons of client wins, testimonials, and we've got a ton of members in our community. And the main conclusion that I came up with, or that I've learned over the past few years, is the traditional funnel is dead, right? The old model is you have a stranger, they go on a landing page, they give you their email, their phone number, you have a call, and then you have a sale. And this worked when ads were cheap and the trust was high. Back in the Alex Hormozi days, he was just running ads this way and it was super profitable. But the reason it fails now is because 85% of the leads go cold and never buy. Only 1 to 3% are ready to buy now, and forcing action destroys trust, and scam fatigue is at an all-time high. You probably have noticed that people just don't trust people anymore, right? A lot of people have got scammed, got guarantees and promises that they couldn't keep, and therefore a lot of trust in the market has gone down. And some people argue, no, trust hasn't went down. It has. If there's more people in the market and more promises being made and not kept, that's just a kind of normal thing that will happen, is trust will go down. So what do? This is where we have a new approach, and ultimately it comes down to building a relationship with people and ultimately providing a lot of value. And that's why we're using Claude and Skool to do that, okay? And this is the timelines that people most miss, right? when you're running a funnel where it's just kind of action based, right? You're running ads to DMs or you're running ads to get calls. 1% of those people will immediately buy, right? They're buy immediately. They're ready to act the moment they find you. However, most of the time those people are hard to deliver for because you have to have a very strong offer guarantee in order to close that 1% person right then and there. And they also don't know who you are, your philosophy, who you are as a person. And they tend to be clients that leave very quickly or have high expectations. And it's kind of a pain to run your business that way. 15% of your audience will buy within 90 days. So they're warming up, they just need the right nurturing. 35% will buy within 2 years of knowing your brand. It's a long game, consistent content wins. And then 50% will never buy. They're the wrong fit or wrong timing and you let them go, okay? Now, that isn't a bad thing. That's just human nature, right? Like if I compare this to dating, just because it's a good example, 50% of the girls, actually no, it's probably higher, but most of the girls you approach will just never be interested in going on a date with you, right? It might be 50%, it might be higher depending on your, game and whatever. 1% might be like, you know what, I've got time right now, let's just go on a date right now. 15%, this is just a kind of analogy, guys, so don't take this too hard, right? 15% might be like, you know what, let's chat, I'll give you my Instagram, within 90 days you're going on a date. And some, if you give them your Instagram and you show that you're a cool guy, vice versa for a girl, you might go on a date with them within the next year or 2 years, right? It's a nurturing process. It's building a relationship. And most people want to kiss their date or kiss a girl within the first second they see them. And that's just kind of, it's not a good idea. And it's also not going to have probably a really good relationship long term. And it's going to fall to shit, okay? So stop forcing, start nurturing, build a system that works while you sleep, okay? So what I understand now, this is just what I understand as of right now, guys. You need to build a relationship with leads over time. That's just something that is universal, okay? Leveraging Claude to build better content and software, right? We're not using Claude to kind of come up with ideas for us. We're using it to house information that you already know, and using Skool to build that relationship is a golden opportunity for business owners. And the reason why Skool is such a golden opportunity, I'm just going to go on a little tangent here, is because Skool is a closed ecosystem, right? When they go on your Skool page, they can go through your course material in an undistracted manner. You're not competing with a ton of people. And the person that runs the goddamn Skool community is Alex Hormozi. And he's jacked, disciplined, a good person, sticks to his word, and is business oriented. So the average person that will come into your Skool community is going to be more like Alex, right? And those people are great people to work with, okay? Whether you're in fitness, whether you're in dating, whether you're in some sort of pain management, whether you're in making money for people, you will attract better leads on Skool. Now the question is, how can we have predictable lead flow to actually convert these people on Skool? And that's a good question. For this, I've got the Creator 4 system. Now, I'm going to break this down very, very simply for you guys. And it's a simple goddamn system, okay? I'm going to quickly go over to my Canva board here, and I'm going to share this, okay? Now, keep in mind, I don't actually have my pen set up, but this is going to be easy, guys. We're smart. We're good business owners. So we're going to run ads, right? Predictable business is always run with ads. Now, you can run an ad for $10 per day that is going to build your followers, right? If you're kind of more at the beginning stage of your business, you're going to run ads to get Instagram followers, okay? If you're a little bit advanced and you're already good with organic, you're already good with getting followers kind of organically and they're high quality, you can actually run ads directly to your Skool About page and get high quality leads that way, okay? So it depends on your kind of expertise. But most of you are going to run very simple ads to just get followers and build your audience, okay? From there, you're going to have content, right? This is going to be housed in Skool. And obviously you're also going to take that same content that you're posting on Skool and you're going to post that on YouTube. So you're going to do Skool plus YouTube, okay? And this is going to, and obviously you're going to create short form content on okay, my battery from my camera just went down. You're also going to have short form content on Instagram as well. And the reason why you're going to do that is because you're still going to use that to drive traffic, okay, and nurture people as well through stories, etc. And the people, every single person that is in your community is going to be a high quality lead, right? You're going to ask for their Instagram, you're going to ask for their number, and you're going to ask for their email, because you're going to do email marketing as well. And all these people in your community, they're high quality leads, and you can contact them over many different touch points. You can DM them on Skool. Like, this is super crucial, guys. You can DM them on Skool, message them on Instagram, text their number, or even call them if you want to, and you've got their email as well. So you've got so many touch points for them to act on, okay? Actually, I think it's 5. Skool, number, email, Instagram. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's it, but that's cool. And then there's 2 ways to kind of convert these people into money, okay? You have customers. So a big reason why people are struggling to sell is because people need trialability. Now, what does trialability mean? Trialability is people need to test of how your product is, okay? People have, the trust is kind of in a recession right now, so people want to test out things before they invest thousands of dollars into. So that's why within Skool, you can have workshops, you can have a low ticket product, you can have things where people can get a taste of how it is to work with you one-on-one, okay? And I always like to have kind of a one-on-one touch point, because that builds the most trust with your low ticket products. So you can have a workshop, right? You can have, let me just write it here. You can do workshops. You can do kind of a low ticket. You can also give, let's say, 1 week access to your one-on-one program for a reduced price for them to get in kind of taste it how it is. There's also, you can also have a monthly membership that's kind of group coaching or something like that you sell within your school, okay? Now, some people will buy that. However, some people, they will also just, you'll have a conversation, you'll book a call with them, and they'll become a direct one-to-one client. Now, these people you're gonna show off in your ads, you're gonna show off in your school, in your results, in your content, and that's gonna build this kind of flywheel, okay? So this is the very simple method that you're gonna use to build your business. Now, this is stupid simple, guys. It can't get any simple. And the reason why it's so effective is because it's so simple, right? Everyone knows the phrase, complex fails, simple scales, okay? Now, just to kind of summarize, paid ads, you can run at $5 to $10 a day to attract followers. Now, if you skip out on your coffee, guys, a few times a week, you can actually run these ads, okay? Content, short form, Instagram, long form, YouTube. Of course, you've got Skool, right? Move followers to email list Skool, and then you're going to book calls. That's essentially how it works. Of course, there's going to be some people that are going to get the low ticket in between these 2 stages to get that trialability factor, but sometimes people are just going to book a call and buy. No beginning, no end. It's an infinity loop. Strangers become followers, followers become leads, leads become clients. Each stage builds trust, okay? Before they work with you. So the main thing, I just want to go into a deep dive of each stage. The main reason why these $10 a day ads work, and by the way, guys, this ad, like these $10 a day ads, saved my life. And I'm not saying this to be dramatic. I was working at a COVID center. I was struggling to get leads. I was doing cold outreach. I was doing everything possible, DMing people on LinkedIn. Cold outreach is dead, right? If you don't have a good personal brand, I mean, you can run cold outreach, but your brand needs to be top notch. You need to have great content. It does still work. I've seen it work. My clients that don't have money for ads, they leverage it. But if you can skip out on coffee every single day, if you grab a coffee at a bakery every single day, you should be running these ads to build more predictability and doing organic on top of that, okay? And this allowed me to go from doing cold outreach, getting ghosted, to actually booking calls consistently, okay? So that's why this is extremely important. So you also want to have content on Instagram and Skool. Short form nurtures, right? Long form builds deep trust, and Skool accelerates the 7-11 rule. Now I'll get into what that means if you don't know what that is already, but I'll deep dive into that, don't worry. So 7 hours of content, it's 11 touch points, 4 locations. That's essentially what it means. I know I'm blocking it right now with my face, but I'll get into that. The community. The Skool community or email list captures leads, free content moves people through your philosophy fast, low tickets creates trialability. I know I just mumbled that. But there's 2 courses that you want to make on Skool that is free, okay? The one course is a free kind of start, I mean, they're both free, but it's a start here course. So this is who you are, your story, your system, You're sprinkle in some results, and this just gets people to know who the hell are you, right? People need to know who you are. That's the first course, a start here course that you want to push people towards. The second one, I like to do a 7-day challenge, 14-day challenge, or a very valuable resource for free that gives people a ton of value up front. Now, for me, it's a 7-day belief shifts like challenge. So you can literally go to my school, take the challenge, get a ton of value and results, and be like, oh, I might want to work with this guy. And that's what you want to do with your school as well. Those 2 free courses you want to create, okay? Now, high ticket calls. By now they're warm, and one great call beats 10 old ones. I'll give you a quick story, guys, of my client Martina. She was kind of a little bit in a desperate situation to make money, and she was like, I'm not getting calls. I'm like, look, if you get 1 call that closes, it's better than having 10 calls where they just want to chat with you and waste your time and not make money. 1 second, guys. And guess what happened? She booked a call and made 2,000 euros right from that sale. And this is why you don't want to, like, my whole premise is you want to have a freedom-based business. You don't want to have a business where you're taking calls all day with unqualified people. So I would rather have a few calls, close them all, than have 15 or 20 calls of them wasting your time and you still close 2 or 3. I want to have people that are super warm and interested so I can actually focus on what matters, which is serving the clients and actually building out my business further to scale, okay? So that's kind of how we want to do it. So the 7-11-4 rule, for those that don't know, this is a study that was brought out by Google of what it takes for people to buy something, okay? And it takes 7 hours of content consumed, over 11 different touch points, over 4 different locations for people to buy. So the 7 hours, we're doing this through school, conversations, through Instagram, through YouTube, through email, through a lot of different places. 11 different touch points just means, touching on 11 different buttons, right, to get the content. It's essentially just reminders. If you look at kind of, how do I say it? If you go on the street and you see, you finally notice an ad, right? Let's say it's an ad for Netflix or whatever it might be. Most likely you've seen that ad many, many times before, but now you start to notice it. And the reason you start to notice it is because it takes the brain a few touch points for you to actually consume and notice things. So you might see organic content from me many, many times, and then on the 11th time or on the 4th time, whatever, it's different, you might actually consume it and notice it and take action on it. So that's why these multiple touch points really matter. And that's what gets people to buy. Then you got 4 locations. So we have Instagram, YouTube, email, school. That's 4. Technically, if you use my system, you might even get 5. If you get their WhatsApp and you have a conversation on there when they join, you can get actually 5 locations, which is pretty cool. And this matters because people need the 7 hours of trust building. Instagram, school together will compress the time dramatically because the community will close the loop, right? When people have school, not only do they have long form content, they've got messaging, they have community, so they'll see other people's wins and stuff like that. And that is really going to speed up the process. So organic content isn't dead, but the nurturing engine is dead for you. And that's where you need to really bring people into your world. So I'm just going to quickly get into the offer stack of how I'm going to be building this, how I build this for my clients, myself, is you have one core transformation. Okay, so this is one thing. You help, busy corporate women get in shape. You help tax advisors make more money. You help XYZ. You're providing a solution. You have one transformation you're trying to build, but many different levels of access to that kind of transformation. So levels of proximity, okay? So one-to-one, this is your most valuable thing. People are getting the most time with you. This is group or private coaching, Slack, WhatsApp, highest proximity, highest priced. Low ticket, workshop, paid community, entry course, builds trialability, the test drive before the car. So this is where you are trying to, give people some value, but you're not doing it for free. Because when people do it, when you do this for free, you're not really showing people the true value of what you offer. So this is actually a paid thing. I would recommend doing anywhere from $20 all the way to $500. It depends on your high ticket offer and how much that is from a jump, right? Free content. So YouTube, school, lead magnets, mini courses, maximum reach, minimum access to you. Okay. So the main thing to take from this slide is sell one core outcome. Never have one course that gets people, how do I say, like one product helps people with nutrition, the other one helps people with muscle building, and then your high ticket kind of combines everything. No, you don't want to undervalue your low ticket. Okay, this is the key thing. Most people make the mistake. The best low ticket thing you can possibly sell is whatever you're selling high ticket, just give them a reduced time of the access to it, right? So let's say my coaching offers 3 months, you're going to give them 2 weeks of access. And what's going to happen is they're going to get a really good taste on what you offer, but they're not going to get the full result because they don't have all the time to actually implement everything. And then they're going to want to work with you one-on-one and upsell to that main offer. It's a very simple concept, but that's what you can do if you're struggling to come up with a low ticket kind of trialability offer. I call this a nano offer, by the way. So this is where we're going to grab all the glue together. So we need to shift beliefs, okay? I'll give you a little story. I scripted a ton of ads for coaches, consultants to get leads, right? And when I started kind of 3 years ago, it was pretty simple. You could say, are you a busy mom and you're struggling to, lose weight because of XYZ, and people would like follow and buy. But because of a ton of ads coming out and because people are losing trust, that doesn't work anymore. You need to be smarter. You need to shift beliefs. You need to get organic data for you to have a unique mechanism, have a belief that is super ingrained that makes you stand out from the crowd. Because the worst thing that can happen is you run ads and you're just kind of, a needle in, you're not a needle in the haystack. You're just an option. You don't want to be an option. You want to be the one person that they can trust, that they don't see working with anyone else. Okay. And the problem is in your offer, it's that they don't believe they can get to their goal. What's more important now is the method they can get to their goal versus the goal itself. Okay. What most coaches do is they say, I'm going to get you 10 clients in 30 days or 6-pack abs in 15 days. Okay, so I switched to my iPhone camera and I'm just going to run with this, guys. I tell all my clients speed is key, and I could wait until my main camera gets charged and then continue, but I'm just going to run with it, okay? So you won't see me on the side here, but we're just going to continue, okay? So 10 clients in 30 days, 6-pack abs in 15 days, they've heard it and they scroll past and it's just boring, okay? So what actually works is dismantling their internal story. What do they tell themselves every single day? Okay, what does that look like? An example could be, 10K steps isn't the reason you are stuck. 10K steps a day isn't going to burn you fat, but this will. Or the reason why you are stuck isn't because you're messing up your diet, it's because you're not understanding the internal monologue that you have daily. All of a sudden they're like, oh, what does that mean? What does that do? And then they're going to want to learn your methodology and all of that good stuff, okay? So the person who shifts a beliefs first gets remembered forever, okay? So I'll give you an example, guys. The first time you've heard something, you always remember the first person that told you that thing. The first person that told you a story or told you this or told you that. And that's very important because you want to impregnate your ideas into as many people as possible. And I know that sounded weird, but it's true. You want to give your ideas breeding ground. And the only way you can do that is by shifting beliefs and be the first person to do that. Not the fifth person that told someone, oh, you need to do 10K steps a day. You want to be the first person that gave people a new belief, because that is when you build true marketing power, okay? So let's continue, guys. You don't sell a program, you dismantle a story, okay? So, for example, some beliefs that you may have as a online coach, as a personal brand is, oh, I just have to get more followers. Or I'm not a people person, or I need to go full organic, or I'm not ready yet. So my job with my content, with my belief shift is like, you have so many followers, you just need to build depth with more of them. Or I'm not a people person. When I started making content, I had so much anxiety, I had to record my first video 10 times before I even started to post it. Or I need to go full organic. I thought the same, and then I got a video with 1.5 million views and it destroyed my business. That's an example actually from my true story, right? I'm not ready yet. Oh, you're not ready, and when will the time be ready? I know by 2027, the creator economy is going to be worth $500 billion. And if you think you're not ready then it's going to be too late. Okay? So every piece of content is one belief that's dismantled. And when you shift a belief, they remember you as the person who gave them that idea. You take up permanent mental space. They don't need to watch your content for you to influence them. The idea walks with them on their morning run. That's the goal. You want them to, this is a thing, guys, and this is going to be kind of a mind-blowing thing for you. People don't need to spend physical time watching your content for them to spend time with you. That's mind-boggling, right? When I told you the 7-11-4 rule, what if I told you that you can be racking up that 7 hours in their morning run because they're thinking about your ideas, right? So when you shift beliefs, the sale becomes inevitable. And you are going to feed all of your belief shifts to Claude so you can constantly be top of mind of the things that you need to shift beliefs with. You're going to create unique software solutions with Claude to shift those beliefs. You're going to create unique school content that's going to shift those beliefs. This all comes down to shifting beliefs, guys. So AI has no edge, you do. What AI gives you is average, polished, safe, no worldview, no opinion, no lived experience, politically correct by design, okay? I'll give you an example, guys. This presentation, it's created by AI, but all my ideas are mine. All of the ideas, the stories, the things that it weaves in is actually mine. And this is where you want to leverage Claude and AI for, okay? This thing, what you can only give, a 5 a.m. shift at COVID center. That was my story, guys. I woke up at 5 a.m. every single day to go to a COVID center to stick things in people's noses for a year. And that's part of my brand and part of my story. A belief formed in failure, okay? So I had that story and that weaved into all my other content, okay? So the move is you want to bring raw idea and lived experiences into your brain. Let AI sharpen the words, keep it blunt, have an edge, but the idea needs to come from you first. You need to use Claude to house your experience and belief shifts and use it to develop material software to make your brand more valuable, especially with the evolving times. We've come to a time, guys, where you have to be using AI to be more effective, to create new solutions. So I'm not saying to disregard AI. I think it's extremely important, but your ideas, the things you experience should come from the heart. It should come from yourself. And that's where you want to have your edge, okay? So let's just sum up this system, guys. You want to run a $5 to $10 a day ad to attract followers consistently and think long term. Okay, so I would rather you spend $5 a day for 3 months than spend $200 a day for 2 days, as an example. Okay, you want to do this long term. You want to get familiar with conversations, with tracking, with data, and understand that skill set. The second thing is you want to produce belief shifting content. Short form content for Instagram, long form content on YouTube. Every post dismantles one belief that they have, okay? And this is extremely important, okay? And also keep in mind, guys, the short form content on Instagram is going to be very good material for your ads that you're going to run. Capture leads into a community, right? School, email, nurture deeply, sell low ticket to create trialability, book the right calls. It's better to have one warm call than 10 ones, like I told you, and leverage the results that you gain and build a flywheel, okay? And this is basically the gist, okay? Now, I want to keep things also I want to have everything that I'm telling you here, it all has nuance, okay? The thing is, when you're someone that watches YouTube videos and you're implementing right from them, you might get some results, but you might not get the results that you exactly wanted. And this isn't because I'm selling coaching. This is because I genuinely want the best from you. If you get results from my content and you're not getting the full results that you want, either work with me if you trust me or work with someone one-on-one to get that extra 50% out of the system, because everything has nuance. I might tell one coach, definitely leverage school, and I might tell another coach, don't leverage school because your audience isn't familiar with it, leverage another platform. So everything has nuance, and that is the key thing when building any type of system, is you want to build a simple system, but then the nuance is what gets that extra result, okay? So I hope you understood that. Also, just a little call to action for you guys. If you want to check out my school, it's underneath this video, okay? because you guys can learn actually a lot on how to build your own school by joining mine, and go through the Design Your Reality course. And then I've also got a 7-day belief shifting challenge. Okay, there's no cost, no bullshit. If you want to book a coffee chat, work through your specific offer niche and system with me, that's also in the school group. Okay. And this is 3 years of all of my trial and error into one system. Now, I just want to let you guys know, in that coffee chat, I'm not going to sell you anything. I don't want to sell anyone that I don't know if I can help. The coffee chat is purely pushing you in the right direction. Okay. So I hope this was valuable for you guys. Build your reality, because it's not going to build it. It's not going to build itself. Okay. Do it. I believe in you guys. Keep it up. Peace.